another red scarf. The girl ain't gonna stop. She ain't gonna stop. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Remna, and in today's video I'll be talking about how you can be much more mindful of Allah. And this video is going to be posted before the beginning of Ramadan, or maybe it's already Ramadan. Either way, happy Ramadan. And I just want this video to serve as like a guide, sort of, to help you sort of think of some ways or some things that you could start changing your life within the month of Ramadan that you can hopefully carry with you outside of Ramadan too as well. And there's this hadith by the Prophet ﷺ that I want to begin with, where he says, "Take up good deeds only as much as you are able, for the best of deeds are those done regularly, even if they are few." So the first way in which you can start to remember Allah more often is to recite the dua before you leave the house. So there's a certain dua that you recite before leaving the house, and why I'm mentioning this is because when you say this dua, the angels then protect you wherever you're going, and they will protect you when you're coming back. Because the reality is that we really don't know when we leave the house if we're really going to come back. I mean, we all have the attention and we all have the assumption that, yeah, I'm going to come back home. But like, again, we plan, but Allah has his plan. So it's always very important to recite the dua before you leave the house. And it's a really short dua too. You can recite this on top of saying Ayatul Kursi. And you just, you leave the house, you come back, you say Assalamu alaikum to the house. But I think it's very important to learn this dua because, again, we just never know, like, when it will really be our last time coming home, which does sound a bit scary. But, again, it's the reality. So many things can happen to us when we're outside. And it's not even just leaving the house, like, for, like, school or whatnot. Like, anytime. Even if you're just going out to get the mail, recite it. And then go and get the mail. Even if you're just going to, like do anything small, like recite this dua before you even exit out of the house. It's very important. We need the protection. Like, we can only protect ourselves so much, and the full protection and our full safety is with Allah. So why not include him before you exit out of the house, and why not leave the house with his full protection on you? The second way in which you can be much more mindful of Allah is reciting Surah Al-Mulk before going to bed. This is a really, really big one because, again, like I said, we don't know when our last day is. And if it does so happen to be our last day, we will end up in the grave. And the grave, there's, two ways or two outcomes of it. It's either a resting place for us where it's nice, it's cool, it's chill, and it's a gateway into seeing paradise, or it can be quite literally a living hell. It's closing in on us, and there's trials and stuff that we endure within the grave will protect us from any punishment that is involved in the grave. And so, again, it's important to recite it, and also it's just really a good note to kind of end the day with, like just with the words of Allah. Learn this surah. If you haven't memorized this surah, then at least listen to it. Play the surah in the background before you go to bed, and hopefully you can at least memorize maybe like the first 10 verses, then 20. This surah in total is like 30 verses, so again, depending on who you are and depending how easy or hard it may be for you, I think everyone should try to at least memorize this specific surah, because, again, protection from the grave, and this is one of those small things that you can do every single day before you go to bed, wherever you are. Just recite this surah. The third way you can be more mindful of Allah is reciting Ayatul Kursi in the morning and in the evening. Again, this is another protection kind of thing, where when you recite Ayatul Kursi in the morning and in the evening before you go to bed, reciting Ayatul Kursi in the morning and in the evening, try that out. Protection all day, every day, 24/7. The fourth way you can be much more mindful of Allah is by listening to little reminders. So these could be like maybe 3 or 4 minute videos on YouTube. This could be maybe 30 minutes if that's your thing. This could be like podcasts, books, anything that you can obtain daily. Yeah, be reminded of Allah, then take it, whether it's you like listening to YouTube videos, whether you like listening to podcasts, whether you like reading, or maybe it's you like to attend like your, local halakas, whatever it may be. Just try to implement some sort of way in which you can receive a reminder every single day. We all need reminders here and there. We all need to be reminded of, ways that we can better ourselves as Muslims, ways in which we connect with Allah better, and just reminders of the Day of Judgment and, the hellfire and Jannah and all these other things. So we all need those types of reminders. So number 5 is to do dhikr. And dhikr, again, I think this is quite obvious. It helps with remembrance because you're constantly saying the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are so many that you could say and repeat often. I know one of the biggest ones is to say astaghfirullah, because saying astaghfirullah, you're not only seeking Allah's forgiveness, but when you say astaghfirullah, there's so many hadiths where it's like people are given what they desire, or they're able to find what they have lost, or they're able to get out of any sort of hardship simply by reciting astaghfirullah daily. And not only just saying it with your tongue, but you also got to feel it. Like when you say astaghfirullah, think about a sin that you've done that you really regret, and just keep saying astaghfirullah towards that sin. Set a challenge for yourself. Like you can set a challenge where it's like every day you say astaghfirullah 10 times. Then once you start feeling like you are able to really connect with each astaghfirullah 10 times, then increase it to 20 times. So 20 times every single day, you say astaghfirullah, you're intentional about it, okay. Then move it to 30, then 40, then 50. Again, I think there's another hadith where it says that the Prophet ﷺ, he used to say astaghfirullah more than 1,000 or more than 100 times a day. So if the Prophet ﷺ was saying it so often, why shouldn't you too, So again, start small, maybe start with 10, or even if 10 is too much, start out with 5, Just make it a daily thing. There's actually this app that I'll put on the screen that I use that just helps with me keeping up with whatever habits I want to implement within my life. So maybe you can implement or put one where it's astaghfirullah, and you can then keep track of it, and then see oh wow, I've been able to say astaghfirullah 5 times for the past, month. And then once it's not Ramadan, you can continue on and see how much you've progressed. And you can also even document see in your life what has changed, what has gotten better of your life because of you saying astaghfirullah. Number 6 is to listen to the Quran. This will obviously just lighten up your heart. Listening to the Quran is a source of peace, a source of ease for the heart. I'm pretty sure there's a verse that literally says that. Just listen to the Quran. It'll provide you a sense of ease. It'll provide your heart a sense of ease, and it'll make your life just a lot better and just hopefully a lot more smoother too. I should also add that when you listen to the Quran, and I don't know who said this, but I remember hearing someone say when we pray, we want Allah to hear us, but when we're reciting Quran, it's Allah wants us to hear Him, When you're listening to the Quran, you're hearing Allah talk to you, and you have the opportunity to talk to Him through prayer. So give Allah the opportunity to really talk to you through His word. Number 7 is to make dua. Now, dua, this is one thing I've learned recently that has really opened my mind up so much, and is that dua is literally worship. That is literally, and worship of any sorts is simply to remember Allah, right? To engage with Him. And so when you make dua, you are essentially remembering Him and engaging in worship. I never really thought about it that way, because I thought dua is kind of you kind of do it if you want to have something from Allah, which again, it is our relationship with Him, but it's much more than just getting stuff from Him. It's actually connecting with Him and opening up to Him about your feelings and your emotions and what you're going through, or expressing gratitude with what you're going through and just thanking Him and being grateful for it. So I never realized that, doing that in dua is literally worship. So again, I highly encourage you to make dua, whether it's raining, whether, whatever condition you may be in, if you have wudu, if you don't have wudu, make dua, talk to Allah. And in fact, I learned that there are certain times of the days where your dua is more likely to be answered. First and foremost, everyone knows this, tahajjud. If you make tahajjud, you make dua during that time, during the middle of the night, there's guarantee that your dua will be answered. Some way, in some form, it will be answered. Another one I heard is if it's raining, your dua can be answered. Sujood, when you're in sujood, when you're, bowing your head down to Allah and your head is touching the ground, that is the most closest you will get to Him. So make dua, talk to Him, tell Him everything, everything that you truly desire, that you truly want deeply within your heart. Talk to Him and let it out in that sujood. Another time is after prayer. So after prayer, instead of just getting up quickly and doing whatever you are doing, just sit there for at least 2-3 minutes. Just say whatever duas that you want to make, whether they're short, whether they're long, whether they're just Ya Allah, I need help. And maybe you don't even need to necessarily ask him anything. Like, just tell him, like, Ya Allah, I'm going through this and this and that. Like, just rant out to him, vent to him, you know, in those 2 or 3 minutes, you know, in your dua, and then let it be, you know. Like, dua is literally your, like, your connection cord to Allah, you know, and it will strengthen, again, your remembrance of him. So number 8 is to memorize the dua before going into the bathroom and after you've exited the bathroom. I know it's pretty random, but again, we all use the bathroom daily, so why not memorize the dua that you recite to go in and out of the bathroom daily, you know? But yeah, they're really short. So number 9 is to say salawat. And salawat is basically just saying Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabina Muhammad. Like, if you say that just constantly, send salawats upon him. There's a lot of benefits to saying salawats. I'll probably put them on the screen. But I also know one of the huge one, the bigger ones, is that like the Prophet ﷺ, like when you say it, like he recognizes it, you know, and he'll recognize you. And on the day of judgment, if you have said it enough times within your life, on the day of judgment, he'll recognize those who sent salawat upon him. So why not be one of those recognized by the Prophet ﷺ and keep saying it, you know? Like, even saying that, I'm like, whoa, like, you'll be recognized, you know, by being. That's it for this video. I hope that either 1 or 2 of these ways in which you can remember Allah more has stuck with you, or you want to at least try it out. Remember that even if it's small, remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that even if it's small, like, as long as it's consistent, then that's like a good thing, you know? It's a good thing to keep doing good deeds, keep them consistent, even if they're small. So if there's any way in which you are wanting to remember Allah more that you want to start trying out, then please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.